This
Say
is.
hello to me now. This is Dixie. If you can see Dixie.
And I'm Pete.
And I'm Shell. And he's Sarah Grayson. And we were just trying to show you them and introduce you to them. But the sit still. Stop. Stop. Go.
Welcome to our channel. Today we're having the boat survey done, and it's the worst day ever to have a boat survey done. I think, as you can see, look, I wasn't joking. It's sticking. I've just bought myself a charger. Got robbed, 15 quid. But I have got some beef Wellington crisps. I've made it. Woohoo! Oh man, those 14 miles were just crazy. It's not that bad actually over here, the snow, but on the way I passed 3 road traffic accidents on the opposite side on the A500, so it was really bad out there. I've not even thought about going back yet.
Okay, and to stop on this boat, you turn the key off. Mine, thank you. You go onto other boats, you shouldn't turn the power off, the ignition off, while the engine's running.
But you can with this one.
You can with this one.
Okay.
Again, they've got different ways of. So sometimes you pull a cable. Sometimes you push a button.
Okay.
This is unusual. More often, you turn a key to start it.
Right.
And you press a button to stop it.
Okay.
This one, you press a button to start it and turn the key to stop it.
Okay.
Just the way things are. So yeah, it was okay. Needed servicing. A lot of smoke to start with. That was largely because it was cool. You heard it screaming, and the voltage from the alternator was only 12.6, which is not. It should be up to about 14.
Oh really? Okay.
So again, probably it was doing a lot of work and wasn't able to put it through.
Oh, so you have to unscrew that then?
Yeah, this is to weed hatch so you can get to the propeller when you get some of your ropes around it.
Yeah.
Looking okay-ish. Whenever you black the hull, black the inside of the weed hatch as well. It's just about deep enough. Okay. And also what we need to do is to change the sealing rubber. Not a big deal, but I will recommend that the weed hatch is cleaned, blacked, and a new sealing rubber put on there.
So 150, is that 1.5 mil?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't bother with the point. This point.
No.
I know what it is. 5.8. It's not 58 millimeters thick. There's just down to hundredths of a millimetre. I don't think much is that much. But at least for me it distinguishes between that and the hull thickness.
I'm so glad I come today. It's just interesting just to see this side of it as well.
Sometimes people come to see me and they say, "Oh, what a lovely job you've got there." But it's always on sunny days. They're not here today saying, "Oh, I want to do your job." What the hell did you get into it?
So would you replace the anodes every time you do the epoxy on the hull?
No, only replace them as and when you need to.
Okay, so you could get the hull re-blacked without having to touch them.
Absolutely. Yeah, and often you will. And then what people will do is that they will, when they get low.
Yeah.
Now they're bolt on, which is the way of doing it. You take one off, put one on. So these are a new one last year. The weld is still very new. So yeah, that's all okay. Pitting's fine. It measures 1.85 actually. So 2 million will be our concern. So it's okay. And if you've got a few bits like this, it's not an area's not too bad. Then what they do is they fill the pit with weld and grind it flush.
Yeah. It's quite a nerve-wracking thing, isn't it? Actually, buying a boat.
Yeah, it can be. I would say it's always worth having a survey, but always so wouldn't I? Because the hull sides are fine. I'm now going to drink a coffee and crawl onto the boat and have a look at the base. I can't get to that much of it, so I shall look at the back here. Further along here I can probably get to a little bit. Further along, and maybe at the bow, the other side, you're not paying me enough to lie in that water over there. So I'd want a big caravan like the movie stars have, where I can come out and have a hot shower and change your clothes.
Yeah, if I'd have known, I'd have brought it along with me.
So I go out, and then I'll check the stern gear, and then we'll do the inside. And the inside usually takes about an hour and a half.
Does he? Wagtail concern.
People will make me do.
Oh man, it's freezing. I ain't going to complain out there though, because the guy who's doing the survey is like 20 years older than me, and he's just soldiering on. He's just an absolute beast. So the survey started all right. It's not finished yet. It started okay, but he's come across a problem at the back by the engine bay. He says that there's lots of pitting going on, and it's quite unusual. So he's having a little bit more of a look into it. The rest, looking at the sides of the hull, it's just that they're okay. The pitting was just minimal, really, nothing to be worried about, which is good. It's just scary. You put all this money into something, and there's a risk of it either not going ahead, or we purchased the boat and something happens to it further on along the line. I wish I had enough money to buy a new boat. That would just be a lot easier. Oh. So I'm having a chicken sandwich. Cost me a £5, so £5. So I was gonna say I'm not gonna drop any. Some's just dropped on my leg. Oh, man, my hands are so cold. So for now, I'm just going to enjoy this sandwich.
The propeller looks relatively small. They may have found it a bit underpowered to steer. So rather, one way would be to have more power, so that on a smaller rudder that will push past it and turn you. The other is to have a bigger rudder. So they may have gone for that. That may be original, but it's unusually big. Nothing wrong with it, just unusually big.
So, but I know. I don't know whether you can answer this or not, but obviously buying a boat for the first time, I'm going to ask all these questions.
Yeah.
But are these things that you can say, well, I'd want that complete before I bought it? Or are they saying this is going to be the boat price and you've got to pay for that work?
I would think that the things you could negotiate on are the pitching on the hull,
Yeah.
and base plate, cutlass bearing, possibly the propeller. We might be happy to do that. But all I can say is this is a concern I've got. We need to investigate it further.
Yeah. And as far as myself, if I just think, well, I don't like the vibe I'm getting from that report.
Yeah.
Have I got enough to step back and say, can I have my deposit back?
Possibly. Nothing is no overplating. It's not bad. I'm surprised about the moisture, but as we said, it was good boat. It was neglected for a time, and I don't know how far they went in putting it right, and what they did. But no, it's just not a bad boat.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad boat. This is the fairly it's basic. It's all there, and that's how the floor should be.
Or was it kicking right over then, the floor?
On the floor.
Oh, okay.
And off the scale some places. So no, it looks like it's got water in.
Being typical me, I completely forgot to do some footage after on a wrap up of the survey. You heard it right there at the end. They said that there was damp or a presence of water underneath the floor, and well, that was quite nerve-wracking. But I got back home, I had a chat with Shell, but we thought we'd wait and see what the survey was like, and we received that a couple of days later electronically. And soon after, I can't remember how long it was, we received a physical copy. It comes in a nice folder, and you get lots of documentation, leaflets and stuff. And it was conducted by a guy called Richard Thompson, who's a marine surveyor, and his company is called Watt Floatable Boat Marine Surveys. And I'll put a link in the description if you want to look at their website. I think it's fantastic. It's quite comprehensive. It goes into everything. So you get the scope of the survey, the summary of recommendations and definitions of recommendations. Then it starts going into different parts then of the survey. So you got the hull and cabin, accommodation and domestic systems, the engine and steering, electrical installation, and safety equipment. And then what it does then, it comes with some recommendations at the start of things that he suggests needed to be looked at pretty urgently. So it comes in a tabulated format, and you can see then what's urgent, what's dangerous, because we had, no we didn't, we had an urgent one, which is the LPG hose that was recommended to be replaced because it was wearing. You get priority and advisory as well. So we went through the report a few times and mentioned the good points, the pros and the cons, and what work we've got to get done. And we really liked the boat, and you saw Shell's reaction on the first video. She just absolutely loved the boat. Also, just to mention, we looked at more boats we didn't just look at this one. This was the first boat that we went to look at, and others then we went to see at marinas, and you could look at 4 or 5 at a time, and there were people around us and kids around, so I just didn't want to do any filming. But we looked at other boats. One of them was clearly having problems with water leaks. It got water in the inspection hatch. There was loads of it all underneath the boat, and that was going at quite a high price still, that boat. There was one that had an overplating problem, and there was quite a few that really put us off. We looked at different styles as well. So the boat that you've been watching is a semi-traditional stern, and we looked at cruiser sterns. We looked at the traditional style narrowboats. We did like the cruiser stern. We liked the space that you get on it, but we felt like the semi-trad give us that space as well as more living space. We found that cruiser sterns had a lot less living space with the larger boats. So we really liked that boat. So we just thought we'd go for getting a survey done and see what happens. So you saw what was said and some of the concerns that Richard had. And like I said, we spoke about this and reflected it then on our thoughts on what we should do regarding the offer. So we decided to put an offer in, but it was considerably less than what we'd initially said because of the work that needed to be done. We had the option of having the seller to do some of the work and get it complete before we had the boat, but we decided that we wanted to get the work done ourselves. We wanted to bring the boat back down to where we live, and yeah, we can see that work going on and see. Well, you could just keep your eye on the people carrying that work out to make sure it's done properly. I didn't like the thought of it being so far away, and neither did Shell. So we decided to put an offer in, and it got accepted. So we got a boat, but we don't know how to operate it. We've never cruised on a boat before. So that's the next episode. See you soon.